ready to roll?
Yeah.
It's your show, man.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to Beers with Nigel. I'm your host, Nigel. Next to me is the co-host, or what's your title these days?
I don't want a title.
He doesn't want a title. That's Nick. We've got a
Damn fool. Actually, we decided that pre-show. Damn fool.
Damn fool. We've got a very special guest on the show. It's Dez Jones, homebrewer, awesome woman. She brews some badass shit. She's got some great news to share. Apparently, we don't know everything that we need to know about her, so we're going to find that out. Welcome, Dez. How are you, babe?
Thank you for having me on the show. This is awesome.
Well, thanks for being here. I want to jump in. Let's get to the good news.
Well, shit.
Let's unwrap the present.
Yeah, tell us your good news, please.
The good news is that I have accepted a position with Torn Label as their assistant brewer. I'll be helping Travis and Limos around Torn Label with just production and learning the ropes of, using a big system to make my beer for the first time ever. I've done a few beers with Bree over at Big Rip.
Right.
But the system at Torn Label's much bigger.
Isn't that crazy when you mess around on one, you go to another, you're like, oh shit, this is different.
I mean, it's all very new to me, from her setup to Travis's setup, just because, I am a home brewer, and just within the last couple of years, I got a keg system. And so I've just been doing it very small, and a keg system only has 2 taps. And so I've been doing extract beers for the last 6 years. So yeah, working with grain and the few extra steps that takes on a bigger system, plus a bunch of other stuff. And it's just, it's so much to learn and take in, and it's pretty exciting, actually. So
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, for sure.
That is fantastic. That is now 4, we counted up, 4 female brewers, pro brewers in Kansas City.
Yeah,
cool. You're the first one of color, which is really historic, because that's what I'm saying.
There we go.
Yeah, man. I'm really into that,
Yeah, I mean, because, as much as we talk about on the show about diversity, that's fucking historic. I mean, there's never been a professional brewer of color in Kansas City. It's never happened.
That's true. And I hope that I do the community proud, and I hope that I'm just a foot in the door for everybody else that's interested in this as well, because it's a lot of fun. And I always tell people, if you like cooking, you might want to try making beer, because it's pretty similar.
That's what I told him. He doesn't believe it.
I don't buy that. Look, I love to cook. I don't bake because there's a lot of math involved and rules, and brewing seems like the same thing, math and rules.
Well, brewing it's a fun little, I think, duality of both. I like cooking like you. I love all the savory parts of cooking. I love grilling, barbecuing, smoking. I'm not a fan of baking either, because it is all precise science. Now, there is science in making beer, but man, you can make beer without it too. You can make really simple beer, really not having to worry about much. And you know what, when you're doing certain aspects of the brew, there isn't science involved. It's just like, you got to get it up to a certain temperature and hold it there, and everything in between that is kind of, but yeah, there is science involved. I don't think it's as strict as you can make it, though.
Well, I'm gonna ask this question because I haven't asked this one before. So I learned to cook by, what's in the cupboard, right? My mom, I was raised by a single mother. She worked a lot, right? So I learned how to cook. What's in the pantry? What are we making for dinner?
It's like being black.
Yeah. You know what?
You're poor.
I don't think I can agree with that.
That's what we did.
I don't know that I'm allowed to do that. But can you do that with beer? Can I just say, you know what? I like these flavors. I'm going to throw them all in.
I think to some degree you can, but again, like I said, there becomes a certain point within brewing where you have to be precise. Like when you're doing the wort boil and you're, timing it down for the 90-minute boil to the 45 to the 30 to the 15. There's structure within there, but I think you can get wild with beer too, and that's the fascinating part for me, because as a, home chef, that's been the most fun thing about learning how to cook and do it well is, okay, well, I learned that recipe. What can I do to make it my own now? So yeah, you can follow the rules till you understand your blueprint, and then see where you can bleed out a little bit from there.
All right, that gives me a little bit of hope.
Well,
she's the first one in 13 episodes. She's the first one to give me hope.
Well, one of my goals is to get him on a brew day, just so he can see. Oh, there you go. That's a beautiful beer.
Isn't she pretty?
Tell the people what you're drinking.
That is beautiful.
This is City Barrel's Raspberry Lime Sherbet. It is a fruited double Berliner Weiss ale.
Shout out to City Barrel because that thing is fire.
This thing makes my world go round.
It's so ridiculous.
They're
Such
really
a good beer.
They're really kind to us, and they drop off beer sometimes and bring us little treats. And this was one of them. I'm very
they're
happy
awesome
to
dudes.
get a part of this.
They're awesome.
That's kind
awesome
of the cool
dudes.
thing about the brewery community is it seems like everybody's kind of sharing. It's
Trying,
competitive, but you're also playing off of each other
Yeah.
and like, hey, check
Yeah.
out this weird thing I just did.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Dez,
I really like. Yes,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say I really like that their variety at City Barrel. You know,
Right.
I mean, sure they're doing a lot of like specific things here and there, but they get wild with it. They do a lot of out of the box stuff.
So twofold question. How did I know you work over there at Torn Label, beer tending.
Yes.
How did that come about that they were like, hey, we want you to be assistant brewer? And second question is, how's that make you feel? You know, what's your emotions about that situation? So the first one, how'd this come about?
I've been there in the tap room for 2 years, and you know, when I was hired by the sales guy who works there, and he's also in the tap room as well, Thomas. He had been hitting me up for a few years after I started homebrewing, asked if I was interested. I already had another job, and I was like, well, yeah, but I already have this job. He was like, well, you know, keep us in mind, yada, yada, yada. We're not really hiring now. Anyways, push come to shove. I finally got hired there 2 years ago. And, you know, my conversations were always centered around like, yeah, I love pouring beer. I love talking about beer. I love people. But, man, what I really want to learn. I want to learn under Travis, too, because that guy is a machine. He's putting out really great, consistent beers. And I like his pathway. Not necessarily the beers that I would brew at his level, but I like his consistency for really solid quality beers over, you know, something that might be more popular or whatever. And just like he does get out of the box a lot as well. And he does incredible stouts. Imperial stouts are wonderful there. But Alex Moss was the assistant brewer there forever since I was there, whatever. And when he left, he went to BKS. That opened up a hole, and I was like, hey, hey, you guys, if you need any help, you know,
Right.
maybe I'm over here,
Right.
you know, waiting for that to happen. And you know, they gave me the nod, and then you know, a couple months later, I was offered the job. So
Good on you for raising your hand too.
Right.
for sure,
Right here.
Yeah, hey,
Right.
I'm not, you know, and I didn't expect to get it, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure they had tons of way more talented, resume-driven folk that, you know, could have easily slid in there and made a home for themselves, but I'm happy they chose me.
Well, shout out to them for doing that because that's
Yeah.
fucking huge.
It is. It's
You know,
massive.
I mean, if you don't talk about it, be about it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If you want craft beer to be diverse, fucking do something. Just saying.
And I think as people, I don't want to say just women, but I think people in general in the world, sometimes you're kind of just taught from a very young age, you know, you can work hard to get what you want, you know, don't go begging for anything. No one gets handouts, yada, yada, yada. But I also believe in speaking up for yourself. If you think that you're ready for
Absolutely.
something, definitely step it to the plate, and I'm ready to swing, you know.
So when you got the job, what were your emotions?
My niece, my 13-year-old niece, she was at my house. She'd been with me for a few days. I've been babysitting her on and off this summer while she's been up here from Kentucky. But I went back home to her, and we had a feast, and I was pumped. I called my mom and dad immediately. Like I've never, honestly, in my life, in 42 years, and in 22 years working, I've never had a promotion that just blew my mind from the level of like, holy shit, am I allowed to cuss?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I might have cussed like 3 minutes ago.
Hell yes.
But yeah, I've just never had a job that I guess had enough of my heart in it. And if you ever get to experience that as a human being, I highly recommend it to have someone see your value and come and get it from you. And it's one of the best feelings in the world. It's like it was truly an honor, honestly, to be asked to learn underneath these guys. I will be taking all the notes. I'll tell you what.
I think that's a pretty awesome thing, both for you to be recognized, right? And they saw some talent and you're placed there, but also you got to feel a little proud that you did raise your hand, because I think that's a tough thing for a lot of people to learn. Is really successful people create their luck too, right?
True. And being shot down shouldn't be discouragement.
Right.
But I also looked out with, honestly, like, I can't stress like how much of a wonderful, tight-knit, like, family work environment that I am blessed to have over at Torn Label. All those guys, all those gals, every single one of them has been solid people to me before being a solid coworker. Like, every single person I know that works there is just so cool, and I'm so blessed to have that job. I don't care if I was in a mailroom sorting mail with those guys; they would just be wonderful people to show up to every day and work. It's just, yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I didn't feel too much pressure. I mean, I'm not saying that there wasn't any, because you're cool with people and all, but I mean, trying to step into that position is, it takes a little bit of nerve. And but yeah, they welcomed me with open arms and never made me feel awkward about asking, like, who are you?
Before we move on, we've got this one watcher, listener, Junior. You've already shouted out what beer you're drinking. Mm-hmm. Junior, I'm drinking Stockyards Cerveza Royale. What are you drinking?
I've got Diametrics. Oh, my bad.
So
label's upside down.
That's for you, Junior. Shout out, homeboy.
So is he the one that was calling us out for not listening?
He's gonna be thrilled we shouting him out. No, he comes to Windshift all the time. He comes to Diametric. He's a huge beer guy. He's a great, awesome dude. But he's like, yo, y'all need to tell me what y'all drinking so I can go get it. We got you, son. Got you. Yeah.
I think we're on 4 episodes in a row where we've listed our beers. He appreciates. We're trying
to
do
good. Episode 4 of all.
This is 13, right?
Yeah, this is 13.
Ooh, lucky number 13.
Yeah, there you go. That's you.
Not me. I love that.
Let's back up a little bit. How did you get into? Was that a burp?
It was weak.
Next time. There you go. Next time, be like, hey, or just burping. Just do it loud. Say you're proud.
I tried. No, that's all you got. You got a 3 out of 10.
What's your story? How'd you? Before you get to the homebrew part, what was your first craft beer? Because this is what we laugh about. Craft beer wasn't called craft; it was called premium. You remember the bottles with the foil?
Well, I was born in 77, so
okay, the foil was around in the 80s.
Absolutely. So I didn't start drinking until 90s when I went to high school, because I was that kid. But
allegedly.
But I mean, I didn't have really good beer. Screw that. That's a long story. The first technically craft beer that I had was Steamboat Anchor out of San Francisco.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, this is way different than Keystone Light.
I put my hand out. He tried to hand me a glass. Hand me the beer.
I saw that. Yeah.
You tried to okey doke me.
I thought he was giving me more beer.
And it's not time for beer yet. You're fine.
So can people see us?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on Vimeo and all of your favorite podcast apps. I'm gonna give a little plug here, Nigel.
Yeah. Maybe I should put this on my my face space for this.
You can also now.
Is there a link?
You can yell at Alexa and tell her to play the Beers with Nigel podcast, and it'll work.
What? Yeah. I saw that you guys came up on my iPodcast or whatever.
Yeah. Really we're all over the place.
We're all over. Hey, look, Nigel's going to take over the world.
That's the plan.
This is world beer domination in the beginning, right here.
Look, when we got the drinking partners to laugh at our jokes last episode.
Look, I almost quit. That's like the golf shot, man. The comedians laughed.
Yeah, they're comedians and they're beer lovers. And they've done how many episodes of their podcast? 300?
They're nearing 300.
Wow. That's awesome.
It was cool that they came on, but it was even cooler that they laughed at our stupid jokes.
I'm going to pretend it wasn't pity.
No, it wasn't pity jokes. I listened to the episode. That was real laughter.
You went to make sure?
I did.
I lost that. There we go. Okay. I'll do
well,
that.
How'd you get into home brewing? Let's go with that.
Home brewing, I was working for Beer KC. So I worked at Beer Kitchen for 3 years, roughly. And through working there, part of your job as whatever part of the house you're in other than cook, you have to go to at least one beer class a month. And that beer class can last for, anywhere from a half an hour to an hour. Just depends on how many beers you're drinking. But they made it fun for us. They gave us beers. They gave us food. They walked us through all the styles of beer. After about a year and a half of being there, I saw their style list roll back over to one. So I went through all the different styles of beer that they could show me in a year and a half, going to a class every single month. And you do a lot of tests when you work for that company, just because they want you to know your business. And honestly, I got into beer because I was reading and drinking beer at the same time. And I was like, this has got to be easy to make. I can do this. I want to make this, and I would be drinking beer like, man, this would be so much better if fill in the blank. And I had the same reaction when I first started breakdancing as a kid or DJing as a kid. I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, that DJ's playing those two tracks together, but really sound a lot better with electric boogaloo instead.
so you're a creative.
I definitely have an itch to scratch when it comes to putting my stamp on anything that I love already.
I love it.
Well, let's go back to breakdancing. I mean, look,
we're
the same generation here, right? So
yeah. I used to teach breakdancing. I used to teach a dance class in Dallas when I lived down there in the early 90s or mid to late 90s.
Where did you live in Dallas?
I graduated high school in 95, and then I was in Dallas pretty much after that till 99.
What part of Dallas?
Oh man, I lived all over that metroplex. I lived in Deep Ellum. I lived in Little Mexico. Right. I lived out in Plano, Denton, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Euless. I lived all over.
That is all over. Yeah, I lived in McKinney, Grand Prairie, Arlington, Plano.
I lived in Grand Prairie. Yeah, I lived in Grand Prairie.
Yeah. Family.
I used to date a girl out there.
Really?
Yeah, first girlfriend ever. That was
nice.
Fun. It lasted.
So,
now people have to watch the video just for that look.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is she? They'll never figure it out.
So give us your background. We learned right before we started that you're a musician. What else do you do? And what instruments do you play?
When I was 7, I started playing the violin, and I played through high school. I taught myself the guitar, piano, drums. I took band class and took drums for a while. I took trombone for a while, clarinet. I got sick of band, stuck with orchestra. Not to toot my own horn, but band was too simplistic for me.
No pun intended.
Every instrument that I learned in band class, I played for 6 to 10 months, and I would quit and start another instrument, but keep the instrument that I just spent 10 months learning, and then continue to teach myself after that.
Damn.
So yeah,
jealousy's about to rear its head here.
I'm already jealous.
I'm sorry, you're too talented for this show.
No,
we're gonna have to move on.
Oh boy, wow. Don't feel bad. I'm sure I make less money than you. Creative doesn't equal success.
I beg to differ.
I'm waiting on that part. I'm waiting on all this creative talent to make me millions.
Hey. The one thing I remember about Dez, I remember hip hops. Yes. And what was that beer that you made? Because the first time I had your beer, which one?
The first one or the second one?
Both.
It was probably the second one. The first one I made was just a straightforward Belgian wit. Put some extra coriander in there. That was about it. And then the second beer I made was that banana wheat.
Yeah, that banana wheat.
That was a freakish beer. I don't even know. And it was one of those beers that I made it, and I was like, when I went to taste it, I was like, oh my god, who made this?
Nick, it was one of those deals.
Was this a homebrew?
Yes.
Yeah, I expected it to be complete trash.
No, it was one of those deals. I was like, it was the first hip hops, wasn't it?
It was the second.
Was it?
First hip hops was Belgian wit. Second was the banana wheat, and then the third was the peach kolsch.
Okay, the peach kolsch was fire too. But yeah. I remember the banana beer. I'm like, y'all need to get over here and get this beer.
You did. You were like running around telling people to come to my tent.
I was like, oh, y'all need to get this cracking.
You know, Nigel's pretty quiet. I was so drunk,
and there was like a line I had to work. I was like, plus Woody put. Hold on one second. I'm gonna go look at this beer because I kept one.
Nice.
I think that's our first walkout.
Well, those guys walked around last week, so there's that.
Well, that's true.
Because Ed walked inside.
So that's true.
That.
So Madhouse Brewing couldn't, for some reason, make it down that second year that I did it.
Right.
And so Woody gave me like 2 cases of their beer and was like, sample it out for everybody. I kept this. He's going to be so jealous when he sees it. Oh, I
remember that beer. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like a 2018, so
nice.
She's bad. I'm still waiting on it.
What you mean? You had an occasion to break that motherfucker open.
I'm waiting for like the perfect Christmas and the perfect bonfire.
Okay.
All right. So what was your celebration beer? What did you celebrate with the other day?
I drank a Cerveza Cru Ghost.
From whom?
Which I think is like a $50 beer, a $50 12 ounce. I kept the bottle if you want me to go get it.
Yeah, go get it. I want to see what that is. But that way Junior can know.
That way, yeah, because Junior's got to know.
We're gonna get him on the show one of these days.
I think we should just keep him, just like make him nervous. I don't know you, Junior. I'm sorry.
You would love Junior. He's a badass dude.
So, it's a Mexico City brewery.
Cool ass bottle.
That label is fantastic.
How'd you get that?
So again, people always come over to Torn Label and drop shit off to
us. Right.
A random bottle that sat in there for 6 months, and I was like, I'm gonna take that home. drink it, had my way with it. And, yeah.
Nigel,
found out later.
Let's pull that.
I thought it was really good, and looked it up on the internet. Turns out this thing is like $50 for a 12 ounce, $300 for a 6-pack. So yeah, someone dropped off a nice present and nobody was drinking it, so I took that shit.
That's nice. Awesome. That's fantastic. Well played. Hey. So again, going back to your, all these instruments, you think that plays? Because like I said, I've had your beer, and your beer had a lot of depth. You think the fact that you play all these instruments, do all these things, plays into your beer making as well?
I hope so. I've never thought about it like that.
I mean, it's probably one of those things as a creative, as Eckhart Tolle likes to say. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's a badass author. He's like creatives. When you're creative, it just comes out. Sometimes you don't even know you're doing it; it just happens.
Well, see, she cooks, she brews,
right?
She's a DJ, she's a dancer.
Yeah.
She plays instruments. So I think I believe the creative is coming out everywhere
in the beer. Yeah, you just it's just.
And the hair.
Going all over the place. Oh, yeah, I'm digging the hair.
Yeah. so wild.
So have you started as the assistant brewer yet?
Yes, I started last week. Travis showed me the ropes a couple days in a row. We brewed the new Hang 'em High, which should be out in about 3 weeks.
Shout out to
that's going to be awesome. It's
like
one of our flagships.
What version is it? Like 22 or some shit?
34.
Oh, God, Lord. Have you ever had Hang 'em High?
I have not.
Oh, we have to get. So this is Nick. Nick is he's my project, right?
Okay.
He doesn't know much about. He's more of a bourbon whiskey guy.
Ooh, I like bourbon whiskey. I like.
Yeah, so he doesn't know much about craft beer, but I'm coaching him up. And
hey, you know what? It's an easy thing to be a pupil to. You just got to drink it, and that's about it. Drink it and taste it and think about it.
That's the perfect segue.
It's like philosophy, man.
That's the perfect segue.
Well, look, I just never paid attention before.
This is the mystery beer bag.
I see that.
Shout out to Tony Medina because he stole this from the golf course.
Bro, I see the golf clubs on it. I was like,
yeah,
what's that about?
Yeah, he didn't believe me when he first brought that up. I'm like, what course did you steal that from?
I didn't
He's
get
like,
it.
I don't know where it came
So
from.
I grabbed 2 or 3 beers per week or per show, and it's shit Nick has never had. So
most of the time.
you want a paper bag first? We go old school, brown paper bag.
Well, okay. When he says old school, I pulled out brown paper bags last week, and they were from Sprouts. So I'm not sure how old school the organic store is.
We're gonna go new school. What's that bag?
What do we got?
Here's the first mystery beer. What you got there?
What do we got here? Well, Diametric again. Bad math. Sour India Pale Ale.
So, Dez, you have to understand, 13 episodes ago,
Okay.
he didn't like sours.
Really? I hear that a lot. I hear that.
He's all grown up.
I
don't want to admit it.
He's all grown up.
You did you start him out on like Sequence Ale or something like that?
Hell no. I probably hit him with a bourbon barrel, stout or some shit, just to because I know he likes whiskey. So
Sure.
Well, and we've talked about it before. I am always going to gravitate to the stouts first.
yes, because that's. I mean, in my experience, my friends who like liquor but claim they don't like beer.
They like the Imperial.
I'll hit them. Yeah, I'll hit them with a barley wine or something like that.
Now, to be fair, I've never said I don't like beer.
I mean, that's true.
I just didn't pay attention to what I was drinking.
That's true.
Oh, that's good.
That's
how I drink beer.
Yeah, I feel like that's what a lot of people did. I didn't care at all about beer till I learned to care about my palate, and I was in my 30s before that happened. I got a job when I was like 29 at Brio, and through working for them, I learned about wine, and I learned about, no profile is wrong, no palate is wrong. Right. You taste what you taste. Some people get snobby about that, but I'm like, if he tastes garden hose, he tastes garden hose, whatever.
We were going for that.
Yeah. But through wine and learning about my own palate and learning about my own likes and dislikes as far as like how to consume alcohol on a connoisseur level versus just like, hey, it's Friday night. Have some drink.
Let's get fucked up. Right. Yeah. See,
that's Nigel on a Tuesday night.
No.
Or a Tuesday.
Right.
You guys get some tacos today or no?
That's after.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm going to get some tacos after.
Fair
enough. Are you from? Where are you from? You from Kansas City?
I've been here since I was 21. So
you're not.
Yeah.
So technically you're not.
No.
Where were you before that? Dallas?
I was born in Kentucky.
What part?
Fort Campbell.
Like military?
Yeah. So my dad's military, and
Gotcha.
we moved around my whole life.
Same here.
Yeah. And he got stationed in Norman, Oklahoma, and I
been there.
Yep.
I used to live in Oklahoma City.
I love Oklahoma. I know it's a little tiny town, but some of the best people I know are there.
Oh, absolutely.
So I graduated from there and went straight down to Dallas because I wanted to be cool.
You went to OU?
No, I didn't go to college till I was in my 30s.
Oh, you graduated from where, though?
High school.
Like what high school? Norman High School?
Norman.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
My look, fun fact. I think she might have been. She's the coach at Oklahoma right now, Sherry Cole. She was the coach at Norman High, I think, or one of those Norman. Norman got 5011 high school, so I don't know which one it was, but
that's a shit ton, by the way.
Yeah, it's a shit ton.
Well, their high school situation's different. They do 9th and 10th grade high school. And high school for 11th and 12th, and then they have like 2 of each. So
yeah.
It's weird. Yeah. It's really weird.
But, well, that's Oklahoma, but it's a good weird.
There you go.
It's a good weird.
Now I'm outnumbered. I can't make fun of Oklahoma. Well, normally I'd make fun of you in Oklahoma, but I can't.
He makes fun of St. Louis.
You'll never stop me from making fun of St. Louis.
Des, what do you think of?
I love making fun of St. Louis too. Their food scene.
I like her.
Their food scene is on fucking point, but the rest of that city can suck a butt, bro. I'm not into it.
Yeah, you and Nick are friends.
Well, look, come on. St. Louis style pizza is not real.
It isn't, and they're rebuilding. They're bringing. Okay, so they already closed down. They already came here and tried their luck and sucked. Got closed down, and now they're reopening an Emos on Rainbow and like.
Well, did you see? Is it Minsky's that's going to try to do a St. Louis style pizza?
Well, hopefully they get the cracker crust thing better because I don't like the cracker crust. But
why do you want stale cardboard?
Bro, it's not even that.
with fake cheese.
Remember them old ass, super thick, like MRE saltines that your grandmama had?
Yes.
That's what the fuck they put that pizza on, bro. Not tight. I hope I anger all your listeners that like emos and St. Louis.
Yeah. By the way, she's my favorite now.
Yeah. He was in love with Courtney Service. Now he's in love with you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you're freezing up, girl. And she's gone.
Uh-oh.
This is a first.
I'm going to pause.
Yeah.
This is not sour at all, but it's fan-friggin-tastic.
No, it's not sour. It's not sour. It's good, though.
What do we got here?
What's that?
6.2%. There we go.
We can hear you, but you're still stuck on a weird face.
All right. Shit.
Oh, you're back. No, it's even weirder now.
She probably doesn't want to see
Oh, now you're back.
There we go.
Well. You're trying to get stuck on a weird face.
Maybe.
It was going so well.
It really was.
And then,
I mean, that's the challenge of not having people
not
in the studio.
In the studio, yeah. But I think, well, look, this might be the one time that we actually have to edit.
Probably not.
Nah, we don't work that hard.
am I here? Am I back?
Yeah, you're good. Sort of. every 5 seconds you're back, then you freeze. Yeah, you're still. Can you hear us? Hello. Why don't you pop out and come back in?
Hello?
Yeah, if you want to sign off and log back in.
I'll try that.
All right.
Well, we're not going anywhere.
All right.
Internets.
Dude, she rocks.
You're like, yeah. I knew she was gonna be good.
I mean, aside from the St. Louis part, that's just like gravy, man.
No, yeah. That's still the deal for you. You don't like St. Louis? Love your show.
Look, when she said the rest of them suck a butt. That was it. By the way, I think that might be our headline. St. Louis can suck a butt.
You should do that.
Act 13. St. Louis can suck a butt.
It almost looks like we're in the champagne room.
There's no sex in the champagne room.
Or crying either. So there's that.
Well, look, every privileged white guy of this generation wants to be Chris Rock, right? So that's why
there's that. Welcome back.
Whoa, costume change.
Hey.
Did you change shirts?
I got hot. Yeah. It's probably why I wasn't working.
Well, that's the kind of interview we do. Actually, we make people sweat because these are hard hitting questions.
Yeah, the hardball questions.
You got me working in here, man.
So I was going to ask you, what do you think about? You've been here you've seen the Kansas City beer scene kind of explode. What's your thoughts on what's happened and how it is? And I've been to a lot of different cities, and people kind of don't give Kansas City credit. I think it's awesome. What do you think?
Well, I've never lived in any other city that had a beer scene that I gave a shit about. I'm sure Dallas had something going on, but I drank Keystone Light.
Back then they did not.
Yeah, so I love it. I think it's wonderful. I grew up playing sports. I welcome competition. I love to.
Nice.
Yeah. 7. I'll give that a 7.
Ooh, she's a tough judge.
Yeah, goddamn, tough crowd.
Wow. Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's awesome. I love and I think that keeps everyone on their toes. And for the most part, it's very respectful. And, when I went to the Hip Hop's Hooray festivals, I felt like I was always receiving the utmost kindest welcome from all those gentlemen,
You know why?
Why?
Because you make fucking good beer.
Uh-huh.
Let's keep it real. Think about it.
Trash. Everyone's like,
If you make bad beer, I'm not going to say that's terrible. I'm going to dump it at the next stand. Right. But if you make good beer, you're going to get the love.
All right. How many times have you? Because I've been drinking with you.
Okay.
I know how you go.
Okay.
How many times have you dumped a beer?
At festivals, I will. because I'm very strategic. Nobody's ever seen me fucking pass out at a festival. I'm not
Get
going
drunk.
out like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might get a slight buzz.
You pace yourself.
I pace myself. I mean, literally, with the last festival I went to, shout out to Other Half Brewing right before the COVID started. That pastry town, and it was all pastry stouts, pastries. They were all big beers, and you could have got. You could have got lit. I wasn't going out like that.
Right.
I mean, I would take a little sip. If that's tasty, I was moving on. No,
I think it's smart. Yeah, I think it's smart that most festivals have like shortened their time hours to like 3 hours because they know, you get a little cup and you can go taste everyone's beer, even if it's 5 ounces. Dude, you're getting drunk.
Now, there's still people who will get totally lit, but that's not my MO. Most of my MO at a beer festival is to at least look at the list and be like, okay, what's the ones I really want? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whether it be homebrew or professional. And then I end up, inevitably, you know how it goes, I end up talking most of the goddamn time. just talking to people.
So do you have a plan going in?
Yeah, it's a loose plan, but it's a plan. Let's jump to this because I know you have a voice.
I know y'all are bringing me back, so it's fine. Next time we do it in the studio.
Look,
I'll wear a mask.
You had me at they all can suck a butt.
Yeah.
She moves into number 1 status.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
so
fond of you too.
I know we've bantered this about on social media, the one thing in Kansas City and most cities, and we get into this all the time on the show is about just diversity in craft beer. Obviously, it's not diverse in Kansas City. It's really not diverse anywhere unless maybe you go to Atlanta.
Sure.
Or some places like that.
Sure.
What's your thoughts on? I have my thoughts on what we can do to make it more diverse. I know you have some thoughts.
I mean, just hire people of color. Start there.
Look, shout out to
it doesn't take
the Torn Label.
Yeah, I hire people of color. There's plenty of people that I guarantee you that are filling out applications. They're the same people. I mean, but you have to think about our industry in general. So let's put aside making the beer and let's just go to like the tap room. The industry in general, where people are serving alcohol and food, isn't really overrun by a lot of Black folks in the first place. So I've been in the industry in the city for 20 years, working my way up from like an Applebee's all the way to a Rye, as far as, Applebee's corporate, Rye, local, James Beard Award-winning chefs type stuff. That industry alone, I mean, sure, there's Black folks in it. Sure, there's people of color in it. But it's not a lot. You don't see a lot of bartenders that are Black. You don't see a lot of Latino women that are serving tables at these establishments. So the industry in general just isn't overrun by people of color. Now, then you go to the tap room and give or take how your tap room is set up. Ours is easy, At this point, we don't have food. We don't have ice cubes. We don't have chips. We have tap handles and beer, and that's it. And people come in there all the time, and they're, maybe we have all these children with us. Do you have food? I'm like, no. But you can go to KC Beer Co. in Waldo. They got toys. They got food menu for children.
Right.
Just depending on what you are selling, I don't think it really matters because, anyone can pull a tap handle and learn about beer. Anyone can learn your menu. So,
right.
I mean, it just, to me, you just got to hire more people of color. You got to hire more women and let that be, as it is right now. Brewing to me seems such like a grandfathered sort of
industry
where it's like, it's passed down either through very good friendships or your dad brewed or your grandfather and your dad brewed. Look at Bree Burroughs, her dad, her brother, like that whole family.
That whole family is a beer family, yeah.
Right.
Sure. But yeah, it's just, it's really simple. Hire people of color. I know they're filling out applications, and if they're not, that's fine too. But
the thing I've heard around Kansas City is like they're not getting those applications. And really, talking to Garrett Oliver at Brooklyn Brewing, he was like, in 30 years, I've never had. I've had people from different countries who are immigrants apply, but he's never had an African American apply at his brewery, which is in New York, which is crazy.
Sure. Well, maybe on like I don't know. This just seems like I don't want to paint with a broad brush.
Right.
But if the applications aren't coming, it's because the lack of interest is there. Whereas when people go get a job at Target, they're not interested in Target. They're just interested in the paycheck. But most people aren't filling out applications to be bartenders unless they already know that they can do that because they know it's a skilled job or whatever. Most people aren't coming off the highway or the street just being able to go bartend wherever they want. You have to have a little bit of a resume. So there might be that intimidation there. And, you know, like you, like me, clearly we're into beer, right? We're probably both into wine, whatever. We probably know a little bit about whiskey.
Right.
But, you know, I didn't grow up in a Black community or a Latino community because I am Black and Puerto Rican. So I didn't grow up in a community of my family or their immediate friends where beer was even, it just wasn't like
a thing.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. So maybe it's a cultural thing at this point. Maybe the only people that are really talking about their palate and really trying to get into beer, you know, are people that just aren't looking like you and me for the most part. Now that
how can we expand that?
You got to raise the interest, maybe on national levels, worldwide, you know. I would think it would take like a macro beer like Budweiser introducing, you know, commercials with Black brewers instead of your bearded white guy all the time, you know, show somebody of color doing that job. But that also raises the question for me is like, you know, well, it's not there. Why is it not there? And if it's not there because if it's not there because of a lack of desire, then I don't really give a shit. If people aren't filling out applications, then I'm not trying to, I mean, I don't know that I am personally taking on the job of recruiting people of color. Now, however, if for some reason when I get my own stacks and open my own brewery, Nano probably, I will probably seek to hire my friends immediately first. And I think that is how that could definitely come into play. You know, I've definitely been a person of hire just because they wanted to have some sort of representation of Black people in their business. Now, this hasn't been at breweries per se, but I have, you know, gotten jobs because I have a resume, but also like, man, we don't have any Black people in here. And when Black people do come in here, they fucking, you know, like they've got nothing to anchor to. All they see is a bunch of not them. And it's nice to see one of your own in a building, you know, whether you care about that or not, it's on a subconscious level, I think.
Right.
And if it were me, I would just go to my homies and be like, I need at least 2 of you to come bartend for me twice a week.
Right.
But that goes back to what you were just saying at the very beginning, though, where brewing and beer is something that's passed down through, whether it's through family generations or through friends or, and if you look at a lot of these breweries as they've started up, I mean, it's a guy who's brewing beer and he brings his buddies in with him, right? Or they all brew together. Yeah. So I think what you're talking about is the exact same thing that's happening, but just with people of color.
Well, how important okay, so for me, it's nice to be in, like I said, it's nice to be in company of, you know, my own, but I have zero issues being amongst nobody of my own. It comes down to necessity for me. Because of things like racism and bigotry, I think that there's a necessity to, yes, maybe get some more people of color within the industry. But again, if it's not like they're being held out.
True.
What do you do? Like, do you just advertise Black people only apply to my brewery, you know? Lesbian, Vietnamese people only apply to my brewery. I don't know how you can really create diversity in an industry in our community if it's not a lack of, you know, bigotry. Because from what I'm seeing, no one has an issue hiring Black people in our community. Like you said, they're just not getting the applications.
Yeah, and we go back and forth with, you know, Boulevard has advertising. They advertise. Most of the breweries in Kansas City are word of mouth. And I think it's a lack of awareness that, you know, not every brewery can go do outreach. But I think some of these breweries and I always bring an alma mater, and shout out to Nick. They're in a mostly Latino neighborhood, and I asked him, I was like, "You have any Latinos coming here just to come and get a beer?" He's like, "Rarely." So I don't, how do you reach out to people who are the minority who don't know about craft beer? How do you get those people to be like, "Oh, I didn't know that shit was in my neighborhood"? I don't know how to.
Well, that's a marketing question, and like as we all know,
but they don't market.
They don't have the budgets for it, right?
Unless you're on Facebook, unless you know somebody, it's not really.
Well, and Facebook isn't what it was.
Well, Twitter, beer Twitter.
Beer Twitter's crazy. I think she's running out on us.
she's multitasking.
Yeah, I heard a fan on. Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's about creating interest where there wasn't one to begin with. And if it's a matter of lack of interest, then I guess for me, I'm asking, what are my motivated goals for involving more of my people into this community? For me, it's just nice to see another person. And the fact that, that day that I asked you on the internet, like, is there anybody else? Because it just hit me. I was like, am I like the only one? That doesn't break my heart. It makes me feel real good, but I guess it would be really awesome if there were others,
Well, and that's my mission is, I have some plans, COVID, fuck off. I had, I've got people who get into spaces where it's not all white. And I've had commitments from a lot of breweries in Kansas City, like, hey, we'll give you beer to do, samples just so people know what's around them. You know what I'm saying? Which,
and
right
I think
now,
the samples thing is definitely a good idea,
Yeah, so
there's going to be black events. Maybe send 4 cases of your beer over there to be sampled.
Yeah.
Now they're getting another product that they normally wouldn't buy, and they're like, man, that's awesome. That raises awareness. You're right. That would be
and everybody loves local. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're like, oh, shit, that's made on 18th Street or in Lee Summit or in Raytown or in North Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves fucking local.
Well, that's what makes taprooms go, is that neighborhood.
No, absolutely.
It's your bar.
I mean, that's what Torn Label is. You walk in there, it's it's like a hole in the wall brewery, but I love it.
It's
dark and dank.
It was the first brewery in the Crossroads.
I mean, I used to travel from here in Lee Summit over there just because of that. Because the first time I went there, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is the shit right here," and they got good beer, and it was always the vibe was always cool. Dez, one of these days we're gonna kidnap this motherfucker right here
and roll around.
Yeah, because he doesn't know. I need to get his game up a little bit.
That'd be fun. Well, I'm definitely down for that.
Yeah,
let me know like a couple days in advance so I can hydrate really well.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna get a bus.
Speaking of getting the game up, look, brown paper bag this time.
Oh, dang.
Mystery beer. There you go. See what you got.
What do we got here?
Who are your favorite breweries around Kansas City? Who you digging?
I love Crane to the moon and back. I'm a big sour person.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, the goals for me are definitely to make sours. My favorite beer locally is probably the Crane Mango Lassi.
Oh,
first.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Crane Beatwise.
Oh, that's one of my faves.
And then the Crane T-Wise.
Crane fan.
And then I love
the
Love Child. I love the Love Child franchise. That's really good. I know it's not popular, but I do love the Chocolate Beer Boulevard.
Oh,
that's really good.
Yeah. The chocolate ale?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And I like that it varies from year to year. I like that it's not the same thing. I like that they can't create the same thing using an ingredient like chocolate.
That was 4.
That was weak.
That was 4. What you got there, Nick?
By the way, this is awesome. This is awesome. Ghost Town Brewing's Lil Nigel.
Ghost Town out of Oakland, California.
Nigel.
Did you go out there and brew that beer?
No, Nick Weinel. Shout out to Nick. He said, I got something for you. And he brought me that beer. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's an English mild, just like you.
Let me put that up to the camera.
So people are bringing you beers too.
Thank God.
You get all the little goodies.
Hold that up.
Oh, wow. It says Nigel.
Lil Nigel.
Is that for you?
No.
You just should tell people what it is.
It's an English mild, just like you.
No, his buddy,
I'm not getting anything for that.
It's an English mile, just like me. If you didn't know, Dez, I'm born and raised in England.
Really?
With a name like Nigel. Nice job. I see you.
There we go.
Look, she knows how to do it. I'm sorry.
Did you hear it?
I did. No, he has a buddy that sends him beer, and he saw that, and he sent me some of it. So I've actually been to that brewery.
So you were raised in England?
In London, yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So were you born there?
I was.
Oh wow. So are you English by nationality, or do you have?
Yes, I'm a permanent resident. I have a green card and everything.
Man, where'd your accent go? I want that.
I can do it anytime, Des. It's a British accent.
Are you turning it off for us Missourian folk?
You
don't want to make us feel too stupid?
Last week was the first episode without a bloody hell.
Yeah, generally I say bloody hell in an episode, but you haven't said anything funny yet.
Well, that's true.
I
used up all my mojo last week.
Are your folks out there?
Now, my mother's Jamaican.
Okay.
My father's British. My stepdad's American. That's how I ended up over here.
Okay.
So my mom lives in Dallas. My dad lives in San Antonio. And my biological father is probably dead someplace, I'm guessing.
All right.
In fact, he's actually dead.
You know what? Rest in peace to that guy.
Yeah, rest in peace, homie.
All right. It is what it is.
Thanks for Nigel.
What you got there, Des?
Thanks for not. This is the Alpha Pale, the best seller at Torn Label.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we did Together We Can.
I love their labels.
Yeah, when we did Together We Can at Diametric.
Yeah, Thomas and Limos' wife are doing those art labels. They're so good.
I drank the shit out of those.
And Thomas is like an old school graffiti artist from around the day. He's a very talented man. Went to KCAI, all that stuff.
Nice.
That's why those labels are so good looking.
Nick, did we announce the beer? Lil Nigel?
Well, I did, but I'll say it again. It's Ghost Town Brewing. Lil Nigel. It's the English mild, 4.9%. We got in trouble because I wasn't doing the alcohol by volumes.
They want the ABV too?
Yeah.
Goddamn. We got demanding listeners.
5.6.
Okay, right on. Hey, Junior, that's for you, homie. Yeah, it's good.
Look, you got to please the people.
Junior,
especially Junior. So you got with Bree. She's been on. We had her on.
She has been a major help. She's been a major help.
Yeah, we had her on. We had Courtney and we had Chris from Crane because they all did the Black is Beautiful. First of all, before we jump to the Black is Beautiful, what does Bree mean to you? How she helped you?
Well, I mean, to throw the obvious out there, she's just a wonderful person.
She is awesome.
But working with another woman who is a female. I'm sorry, that was a double. That's another woman who's a female.
You just mean it double strong.
I think I'm getting fucked up. For me, it meant a lot. This industry here locally is ran by white bros, and it was nice to see someone that could talk to me and had zero issues being like, yeah, don't do that with your homebrew. Do this. Yeah. Let me come over and help you set up your keg system. It's all fucked up. Tony from Windshift, shout out to that guy. Super nice guy. Came by. He helped me with my keg system as well. But any little thing that I've ever, she is like a wonderful anchor to the wildness of me trying to learn how to brew because I could call her around the clock.
That was it. That was like a 2.
Yeah, that was whack, dude. I'm not getting girth here or depth.
Phrasing.
I'm not thinking about it. But no, I could call. She would let me call her or text her around the clock whenever I'd be brewing because I have an affinity to brew at night. Everybody wants to get up at be brewing by 8 in the morning. Not my deal. I like to start a brew around 4 p.m., 5, and brew into the wee hours of the evening. And she would let me text her. I'd be like freaking out. I'd do something. Oh my God, what do I do now? And she'd always be like, calm down. Just do this. She was honestly she's younger than me, but she was like a big sister of brewing and, never made me feel fucking stupid, first of all. Because, I am going to ask questions. I am going to speak up because that's how I've always learned. And she never tried to make me feel small. When I first started breakdancing, when I first started DJing, again, these are boys' worlds. And you come into a breakdance world where all these men are incredible and you have your little women here and there, so whatever. But it isn't it's like 9-to-1 dudes to women in that world. And you try to get it, or like even skating back in the day, if you like try to go skate with dudes, they'd make you feel dumb, like, oh yeah, you're a chick, you suck. Like, yeah, I suck, I'm new at this, I'm trying to be better. And my dad always told me growing up, he's like, if you want to be good at something, hang out with people who are doing it that are better than you.
Right.
So you can watch and learn. If you're just hanging out with people that aren't doing shit, then you're never going to learn shit. And she was one of those people who were doing it, and they were doing it way better than I was. And she never made me feel small about it. She never made me feel stupid to make, idiotic, freshman type mistakes. She's a really legit, solid human.
I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's so good.
How did the Black is Beautiful come about? You guys, she brought you in to do that.
She sure did. She just hit me up and asked if I'd be interested in doing it. That she had me on her mind and wanted to get together and make that happen. So we did, and it came out good. I hope you guys got a can of that. It was really awesome.
We actually had it. We had it. The Wind Shift first annual meeting at what's that distillery up in North Kansas City. Shout out to them. I can't remember it. Restless Spirits. We were over there.
Okay.
And so we dipped down to the brewery, and Alex was there, and we were drinking up some beers. He was trying to close, but he was cool about it. Then he brought out this tray of the Black is Beautiful, and it was really good.
Rip?
Wow.
From Big Rip?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we got to taste it even really before it was out.
Nice. I didn't.
I'll get you some, Nick. Nick's looking all jealous and shit.
I'm always jealous of you, Nigel.
But no, it was one of the good ones.
Yeah, she's a great girl. I like her a lot.
Was learning to brew the same as as you talked about teaching yourself to play instruments and to dance and do all this? Is that the same kind of process? Did you tackle it the same way?
In method, yeah. I had an orchestra teacher who was super intense about time. Super intense. Okay. You could be in the middle of an 11-minute concerto, and one person in the room would fuck up, and she would stop you all and make you go back to the beginning. Wow. And we were kids. This was like 8th grade. But what that taught me was A, sequence, B, stay in line, C, if it's not perfect, start over and do it again. And that's okay, because when you do stick it, it's going to feel like everything. That's got to be the closest to what like maybe Olympic athletes feel like winning gold or something. But my method has always been dust yourself off and try again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Pay attention to what instructions you can get your hands on. And after that, once you get it down, try and see if you can venture without screwing it up,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you have a lot of arrows. Is it arrows in the quill? Is that the
quiver?
Quiver, not a quill. What's a quill?
That's a pen.
I
have no reason for this, but I feel like as a British guy, you should have known both of those words.
I know what a quiver.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
There we go.
Oh, bloody hell! I wasn't.
There we go. There it is.
There it is. Hey, I'm glad I did
that. Oh my goodness. So that the Black is Beautiful movement, though. How crazy is that? I mean, so we had Marcus on the show 2 episodes ago?
2 or 3, yeah.
From Weathered Souls in San Antonio.
Okay, I heard that.
Yeah, so he was. It was crazy that he came up with the idea, and he was going to do one beer at his brewery, which cracks me up. And his mentor is the brewer from Jester King. He's like, you can make it bigger. And
oh shit, it did.
Yeah. He was hoping for 30 breweries.
Wow.
It's over 1,000 now. And one of the 1,000 is that beer that you guys did.
So what you're saying is this was a recipe already in circulation, or?
Well, what he did was
he made a basic recipe.
Yeah, the basic recipe, and then you could riff whatever you wanted to do.
Right.
So some breweries just did the base recipe, like Crane's version of it. Just the base recipe is fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
I meant to bring that.
No, I've had that one.
Oh, did you have the Crane one?
Yeah.
Was that last week? Yeah, it was last week.
Was last week's Crane? Because I've had 2.
Yeah. Yeah, you're looking good, girl.
Thank you.
The hair's looking good. But so yeah, you could just riff off of it. So we told him I'm trying to round up all the ones that people did extra from Kansas City. I'm like, I'm sending you all them bitches. So I'm definitely sending y'all. So yeah. So I'm gonna, shout you out too on the Twitter. You know what I'm saying, when I send them.
Thank you. So locally we had BKS, Crane.
Yeah.
Big Rip.
Wind Shift. East 40. Service. Grains and Taps. Transport.
Okay.
Yeah. Sand Hills.
Okay.
Red Crow.
That's 10.
There's I'm missing some. The last I saw was like 17.
So we have almost 20 brewers just locally that brewed that beer.
And you know what's crazy? When we talk
That's so cool. That's so beautiful. That really is beautiful.
Yes.
And that makes my heart sing. Say what you want about it being a white dominated male industry. It's nice to know that a third of the fucking breweries locally signed on to that, because that was a huge charity event. That was, in a time where people are losing money, you're giving your proceeds back to a really good cause.
Oh, and Diametric as well.
Let me ask you guys this.
We were part of the Diametric one. That's all us.
That's right. That's right. I remember.
That's going to come out in probably another week.
Okay.
Do you think this would have been as big and as successful as it's been any other time?
Without George Floyd?
No. Right. Well, I mean, we're in a different place right now.
Yeah.
George Floyd happened.
Well,
the world shut down, so we didn't have any other distractions, right? There weren't sports to take away the news cycle.
Right.
Would this have happened?
I'm gonna answer that, because we go round. I think the beer community is one of those communities, and that industry,
at least locally.
Yeah, but I think nationally as well. I can't
talk for other communities, but I feel like our community is what I've heard about the industry and how crazy it can get. I haven't experienced any shitty bigotry here, thank God.
Me neither. But I think 99% of the beer industry, and this is one of the things, it's like, what industry could come together and say, yeah, we're all going to do the same fucking thing? There's not another industry, because it's all about, the beer industry, there's competition, but ultimately it's all craft, as in, if all three of us are cello players, we're not the same cello player. Were you a cello player?
I was.
Well, I wasn't, but I'm saying we all have our own style.
Right.
Dez, I tell people this all the time. We could all take the same recipe of beer, and it might not be exactly the same.
No,
it's probably not going to. Because we might do some little minute thing, and I think the beer community, I mean, even the guys from Drinking Partners, shout out to Day and Ed from last week, they were shocked that we had 17 breweries in Kansas City. There's 3 in Pittsburgh that did the beer.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
When people ask me like how I feel about all these breweries shooting up, I'm like, dude, the more the merrier. Don't act like we don't have the room for it,
Let's keep it real.
This is an industry right now that's really taking off, and even in the middle of COVID, it's taking off. People want that connection to their city. They want that pride element. And I think we're lucky. We have a Super Bowl winning team. We have a championship under our belt in the last 5 years for the Royals.
Yeah.
I feel like we have so much pride here, and to add beer to that is just another layer of kick ass. I love this city.
Ain't nobody bitching about how many Quick Trips there are.
Right.
It's 50-11 Quick Trips.
Well, that's from Oklahoma too.
Tulsa, you're right. Is that Tulsa?
It is. It's the best. Okay, I feel like you guys seen that movie Spaceballs, right?
Oh yeah.
And in the beginning, like where they're like filling up. They're filling up their RV spaceship. Yes. I was like, is that how the future's gonna be, man? Is it just gonna be like a bunch of like Quick Trips in the sky, man? I think it is. They're onto something. Quick Trip has their shit together.
No,
they're putting everything. They're like a fucking mall. You can do. Yeah. They got everything but clothing over there, bro, and shoes.
That's probably fucking.
Give them time.
Right.
I'm waiting for the first 2-story Quick Trip.
Oh, please.
Give them time.
We never leave. They put a bar in there and you just never leave.
I mean,
well, yeah, you open up a microbrew right behind it.
that's smart though.
Well, there's always fucking cops hanging out, so that's not going to be like conducive with people like drinking and driving away. Like always cops hanging out in the fucking parking lot. They might have to give us a pass, dude.
So what's you talked about, you kind of touched on it. You want to open a brewery?
I mean, that would be the dream. And I've heard that opening a nano brew is not worth the financial stress because you're never really going to make enough money to, make it worthwhile. But I think a nano brew is the right size for somebody like me. I don't know that I would ever want a big production.
Right.
A, I don't have the money for it to begin it, and B, I just like little nano brews. I think they're so cute, like Border Brew.
Yeah.
That size brewery.
Yeah. I mean,
beautiful. When I walk in there, I'm like, that's perfect. That's perfect.
So when is it not? When is it not nano?
Yeah, what's that threshold?
When is it not nano? Because I feel like most breweries here are fucking nano at this point.
So I think there's nano and there's craft, and it's a matter of how much you yield and put out.
Oh, per year, whatever. Barrels.
Right. So like macro brews are Budweiser and shit.
Well, yeah, they don't count.
McCoy's was a craft brewery because it put out so many barrels a year. So it depends on how many barrels you put out. Depending on how many barrels you put out is what you are determined. And a nano is way smaller than a craft, and I like that idea.
So how many?
I like the idea of having a place that I don't have to give a fuck about keeping up with the crowd's demands. Like when that really tight beer that you like ran the fuck out, if it's not a flagship, you'll see it next year. Don't care.
Look,
it ran out in 4 fucking days. It's gone.
that would be wind shift.
Yeah, I love that.
Wind shift. He can't. That motherfucker can't.
But he's always
he can't
make stuff.
That's got to feel good. And I think in those environments, you can really hone your precision to you and your taste buds. When you're not having to cater and you're not having to be there for legitimate financial reasons, when it's just like a fun project to you and it's a small enough project that you can contain and you can flip around without having to meet the demand of supply and demand, and you don't have to worry about people being mad about it. Like, hey, you got mad that your favorite beer wasn't there. I'm sorry, that's terrible. It'll be here next year.
Yeah.
Yelp about it all you want, but you know what? I can still pay my bills whether you show up or not.
But I got this other thing you can drink as well.
Right. But I have this other thing.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna come work for you. Shit.
So when you're playing around and you're brewing and you're goofing with your flavors, you get is it for you?
Yeah, for sure. I love fruit.
No. I mean, but is the flavor, is that for you, or are you hoping? I mean, do you care more about your own taste or what other people are drinking?
Yeah, because I got 2 taps in my house, and if I have to have a keg of something sitting around, I have to like it.
Right.
And I'm shooting for the stars when it comes to my flavor taste, and I'm always doing something that I'm not used to being familiar working with. That peach Kolsch, I've never made a Kolsch before, and I've never worked with fruit outside of the banana. And the banana was easier, but the fruit, the peach was different. I had to take a couple of different methods to get that peach. It's not really a flavor that comes out no matter how much you use. You
killed it though.
Yeah, for a 5-gallon batch, I used 2.5 pounds.
Right. She was fire though.
Yeah.
So so this begs the question: what's on your 2 taps right now?
I just crushed and just tapped like a week ago. I did an Irish Red Ale. I do one every year. I do it every year. It is honestly my favorite. It's so not fun to anybody, but it's my favorite thing to brew because it's one of my favorite holidays. And I'm pretty sure like my brother did a 23andMe saying he was like 20% Irish, so I feel connected. It's not appropriation. It's not appropriation.
So
I love an Irish Red Ale. I just tapped an Irish Red Ale. I haven't.
What's your favorite style? Do you have a favorite style?
To drink. I love a sour brown ale.
A sour brown.
Mm-hmm. Like first sour beer I ever had in the whole world was out at Fort Collins in New Belgium, and they gave me La Folie. about 8 or 9 years ago, and I was brain flipped upside down. Whoa!
Wow.
8.5.
8.5, bitches.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
I feel like if Dez gives you an 8 or higher, you've earned it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got depth, girth, and volume. And, yeah.
And I might have leaned in a little bit.
You got to judge. Yeah, you got to judge on certain categories.
Yeah. Nick, one more. Look at that. Another
Oh,
brown paper
dang.
bag.
Y'all just give that over here. Here.
But just throw it to the camera.
That might be the next thing for the podcast. When we get a guest, we send you beers in a brown paper bag.
What do
we got here? Barrel Aged Narwhal, an imperial stout from Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
Now that's my question. Is Sierra Nevada, is it too big now for the craft beer world?
They still kill it. Torpedo, they still kill it. What are you cracking over there?
They have one of the best pale ales ever, and that's quintessential go-to.
Yes.
And it's so consistent. They were one of the first. They weren't the first, but they were one of my first craft beers. Right. Before I even knew what the fuck a craft beer was, it just wasn't a Budweiser or a Modelo,
right?
Or a Keystone Light.
Hey, look!
What
Keystone Light got me through college.
Dez, what you crack over there? What you got? Is that number 2 or is that number 3?
I'm still sticking to the Alpha Pale Ale.
Oh, I could have swore I heard a pop. Oh no, that was him. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you want my? Did you just give me the horse thing? He's like
I
might have pregame before the show.
But seriously, the drinking partners, they're going to be contacting you. They want you on their show.
I don't know if they want me. I drink and I smoke and I cuss. I'm a lot.
You're going to fit right in.
Do yourself a favor. Go subscribe to the podcast by the Drinking Partners.
Okay.
Trust me.
You're going to fit in.
We're all family. They're the most awesome dudes. I heard the Fresh Fest was.
Did you digitally participate?
No, because I had a full Saturday. But my friends were so glad that I introduced them to Fresh Fest because they did it digitally this year because you couldn't do it on. Do you know anything about Fresh Fest?
Heck no, but I want to.
So last year
that was like digital. It's like a digital.
This year was digital.
So I'll tell you what it was. Last year, I discovered the Drinking Partners podcast. There's a couple of comedians out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay. They're in the beer. Well, 2 years ago, they started Fresh Fest. So basically, it's the quote unquote first Black beer festival, right?
Dang, why don't I know about this shit? I'm Black.
So this was the thing. So I go up there, I get VIP. So on Friday, they did a symposium. The first symposium was diversity in craft beer. We were in this hotel. Then we took a break. We went downstairs to the hotel bar, and I got to meet all these. When I walked into this conference room, it was the most Black people I'd ever seen that love craft beer.
Love that.
And they might have been bloggers, drinkers, brewery owners, journalists, all run the gamut Black craft beer. So I go downstairs and I meet Day and Ed, and I'm like, it was surreal. And then the next symposium was there's probably, I don't know, 50 Black breweries in the United States. They probably had 30 of them there. So the second symposium was, so you want to open a brewery. Here are the people, this panel of who has done it. Ask the questions. So then that night, they did a VIP bottle share, the most ridiculous bottle share I've ever been to in my life.
Off the table, I bet.
Yeah, it was. I had to leave. I was like, because I wanted to go to a Pittsburgh Steelers preseason game because my hotel was across from Heinz Field. I was trying to do all the things.
Right.
So Saturday, day of the festival, they did a VIP brunch. So they had 4 chefs. They had this VIP area. They were cooking right there in front of you, and every table had these high top tables with buckets of beer from all the breweries that were there.
Wow.
Then they started the festival.
Wow.
Then they start the festival?
God.
No, hold on. Before they started the festival, and then they had their live podcast, Drinking Partners, and it was Garrett Oliver. You know who Garrett Oliver is, right? Just good. He is the most famous Black person in beer, easily.
I will Google it right now.
Yeah, you need to read all his books.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Tony from Windshift loves him, and When the podcast was over, I said, Garrett, I need to take a picture because my homeboy Tony loves you. I took a picture and immediately sent it to Tony. He about shit his pants. But yeah, he is. You need to know.
He looks like he'd be like Hootie and the Blowfish guy, DeMarcus, whatever his name is, like older brother. 100p.
So we do the festival, and of course, I didn't drink that much beer. That's why I met the guys from Weathered Souls who did Black is Beautiful. Right. That's where I met those guys. They do some of the most wonderful styles. It was more than a beer festival, and it wasn't all black, but it was homebrew and professional brew. But it was 3,000 people.
Wow,
it was huge. And then it was music, and then Nappy Roots was the headliner. Okay. And then on Sunday, I got to go to the Brewers Brunch because I was VIP like I do.
Ew.
And I met all the movers and shakers. It was the most ridiculous thing. So this year, it was supposed to be last Saturday, so they did a DigiFest instead. I had a whole posse coming. I had bought like 5 VIP tickets. I was like, we going to Pittsburgh, bitches. So next year I got a ticket for you. Okay. Let's go. It's the most ridiculous. It literally, if I'm going to rate my beer festivals,
I'm in.
I would go Fresh Fest, that pastry town that I went to in New York in March. And then right after that, there's several beer fests in Kansas City that are, I love Nano, I love Lost Township. It blew me away. It was a watershed moment for me to see that many. I had no idea, because here in Kansas City, you don't see black people in the breweries.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It goes back to the question you asked me, like, how do you get this industry, with a little bit more diversity? Well, I mean, clearly we like beer as a community. Right. Everyone likes beer, right? I don't know a culture on earth that doesn't like beer.
Exactly.
But we're talking Sumerians, I guess, were the ones who invented this. You know who
made the first beer?
Women.
Yes.
Priestesses. They weren't allowed to make. Only female priestesses were allowed to make and bless the beer.
Right.
So those were women of color. So it's interesting to me that this culture belongs no longer to us, at least here. Maybe
we're really good at appropriating things for ourselves. I'm just going to say that.
Hey.
Is that a surprise to you guys?
Okay. No, not at all. But yeah, no, that's really cool, and I'd love to go because that again, like, I don't need to see a bunch of my humans amongst me all the time, but it would be wild and fantastic to see it because
it was lovely.
Because I don't, like you said, we just don't see that very often.
Right.
It is rare. So to go to 3,000, minus 50 or 100 people, it'd be like, I'm bugging out. This is great. I love this. I didn't know I needed this till I saw this type shit, Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So get your game up on Garrett Oliver. He just started the Michael Jackson Foundation, which is not that Michael Jackson. There was this guy, he was a brewer, and he just started this scholarship for people of color. Okay. If you wanted to go to like one of these beer educational schools, they're giving scholarships.
Wow.
To do this.
That's really cool.
We're gonna get Garrett. I can get Garrett on this show.
We're gonna get him on the show.
I've met him. I met him.
There are no limits to the Beers with Nigel podcast.
I met him at Fresh Fest. He was a great guy. I saw him 6 months later in New York, in Brooklyn, and I said, and he was like, "What up?" And he talked to me. And I was like, just a really cool ass guy. He's the head brewer at Brooklyn Brewing. Okay. I went to Brooklyn Brewing. I was like, "Where's Garrett?" He's not here. But he's written like three or four books. He's one of 19 master cicerones in the world.
Wow.
I'm gonna say he's the only brother.
He's a what?
Why are you hiding them burps?
Oh man, it's just I don't know.
It's a natural thing.
Naturally,
the smell's not gonna come through here. You're good.
Fair.
You don't have to hide the smell.
It's not smell-o-vision.
Hey, so you are now, as you step into the big role at Torn Label.
Yeah.
What are some new goals for yourself? How are you going to announce your presence with authority?
By respecting their authority first. I go into their house. That's their gear. That's their money. That's their everything. I announce my authority first by showing up and showing that I'm there to play ball. You know, I'm not there to, you know, just run with it. You know, Travis is an incredible person, you know, and he's basically told me, as soon as you feel comfortable on this system and you want to start making beers, talk to me about it. Tell me your plan. We'll make it happen. He's so fucking rad. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But right now, I just need to learn the plumbing. So when in their brewery, they've got all this shit and they've got all this, like, I learned what a manifold was this goddamn weekend, and I didn't know what a manifold was. I didn't have to. And he was like, you know, when it's perpendicular and it attaches to another pipe and all this like maze of pipes that all connect all the things. And so for me, first things first, learn my instrument. Okay.
Right. There you go.
Right.
Learn my instrument.
We know you're good at that.
Yeah. You don't go forward. You know, I always tell myself, I don't practice on stage. So I won't be making a beer there till I completely, fully understand what I'm doing, you know. It's like if you ever made an egg and you made it in the wrong pot and you didn't know it was the wrong pot to make an egg, and you made your egg in that pot for 16 years and you finally got a nice saute pan that was non-stick, and you're like, I've been fucking this egg up the whole time because I was using the wrong shit. So yeah, I want to learn my medium first and get that down to a science. I want it back of my hand knowledge. And then moving forward, you know, I don't know that I'm going to swing for the hills I don't know that I can say that now. Now, if I had to make a beer now, it would be very pedestrian. It would be something that I know that can sell and that I know that people would like. But who knows? I might feel differently about that once I learn how to completely understand their mechanics there.
It's like my homeboy tells me, you can't break the rules till you know the rules.
Right.
That's real shit right there.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Or you shouldn't, because my thing is, you know, if I'm gonna look like a fool, I'm gonna look like a fool who was well read and shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
It shouldn't happen to the best of the most knowledge. You know.
Oh, I mean,
highest up.
Yeah.
But
I don't
want to go in there cocky. You know, half read on something. Like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm gonna do this. I'm a big wig. You know, they're not needing me to come out anytime soon and make beers. They already have their shit together on it. They're not thirsty for new flavor right now. You know, they have so many amazing. They have a great menu. They're doing fine.
And let's keep it real, Nick. Assistant brewer. That's a lot of cleaning.
Grain out.
But you know what? I ain't mad at you, girl, because I envy you, because that's where I want to be. I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a brewer, but I love the process. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I mean, I love the whole thing. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but you know what? My Jamaican mother taught me how to fucking clean. So I'm perfect for that shit.
I just like hearing her talk because I love how you attack everything like it's a new instrument. Like you're just, I see that. I like that. I'm going to learn how to play it.
Yeah, basically. I like what sounds come out of there. I like what they're doing with it. What can I do with that? What can I apply that to? That what I'm already looking towards, you know? When I first started learning how to produce music digitally, one of the things that one of my instructors had me do was recreate a song, which is just like learning a recipe. He was like, I don't want you to do anything. I want you to listen to the song and I want you to recreate the entire song based on what you hear, exactly as you hear it. Only do that. It's harder than you think because you always want to like improvise this, that, and the other. But what that teaches you is to isolate the components and know the components for what they do and how long they are and all this other stuff. And beer is no different. Cooking is no different. Dancing is no different. You know,
everybody has their own. Yeah. Everybody has their own expression. Mm-hmm. We all have our own expression. We could all try to do the same beer. It's not going to be the same.
No. And what was crazy is that instructor, when he would have you do a song, he'd have the whole class do the song.
Wow.
And everyone's version
Wow.
would be different.
Yeah.
Even though maybe time wise it was all the same, because you can't really stray from time and have it be the same, because this whole thing was like it's got to be the same. You know, if that guy's on a 4-4, then you're on a 4-4. You know, and you work within those parameters. So yeah, I just hope I can make those guys proud. I hope that I'm somebody that they enjoy to work with, and they know they can count on me more than anything.
Well, I have no doubt you're going to be successful. I don't know you that well, but the times I've interfaced with you and had your beer, I was like, yeah, she knows what the fuck she's doing. So, and you're one of those people. But you know what though? Yeah, nobody has mastered brewing. Let's keep it real. Right. So, but you're going to bring some different ideas to the table. Even just keep it real. Just culturally, you're going to bring some different shit to. Yeah, man.
You guys got a black Puerto Rican, maybe 20% Irish person brewing beer for you guys.
Right. I mean, even
I'm super homo. I'm a homo. Like I bring all these like hashtags to.
Right, all the hashtags.
I'm filling up all those diversity slots at Torn Label. they got it all in one person. Check.
So who's going to take your place in the tap room?
Oh, I'm still in the tap room. I'm not giving that up. That's too fun. Yeah. I like working with those people.
Yeah.
Our clientele is really neat. You know, we have a lot of great regulars.
Yeah.
Now you're making me tired. Just think about how much you're working. If you're doing the tap room and assistant brewer.
Tell him, Dez, tap room's not really like work.
I mean, it is for me.
Is it?
Because, I mean,
a lot of hours.
When you come into the tap room itself is small. But that brewery is large, and that's a lot of walking. And luckily for me, I love the way that they have their lines and their keg set up, because where you pour from, right behind there,
nice,
is the whole fucking the storage cold room. So it's really simple in the fact that I'm not having to take a 6-barrel from a walk-in from 400 feet away and drag it, because I've had those brewery jobs where they didn't give you $1 or nothing, and everyone else was carrying kegs with their bare hands, so you better too. So yeah, and in that sense, it's pretty decent. But I mean, I'm 42 years old.
What's that mean? What's that mean?
Just being on my feet for 7 to 8 hours hurts.
You gotta get the right shoes, girl.
Let's just pretend I'm just standing there looking pretty. I'm not even pouring a beer. I'm not walking around. I'm not busting tables. I'm not taking the trash out. Let's pretend I'm not even doing that. Just standing for 8 hours is a lot for my back.
Proper footwear.
You gotta get the right shoes.
You need shoes.
You need to get some some of them nurses' shoes.
You gotta get them nurses Skechers.
I have what they call plantar fasciitis.
Oh, shit.
Like my bones, I feel like my bones are pushing through paper. They're about to be like, boop.
Yeah. Well, that'll cure it. That'll cure it.
Oh, yeah, right? Just like push them all through.
So
Dez, it's great. It's great.
As we wrap this up, are you on the social medias?
I sure am.
Where can we find you?
Instagram.
She's on the gram, folks.
I'm on the gram. You can just look up my actual name, Dez Jones, Nareda Jones. It'll all come up. You don't want my Facebook. I might say something you don't like politically. But that has nothing to do with my beer. Instagram's a really good place to see like all the work that I do.
Are you not on the Twitters?
I'm on Twitter as well. Yes, absolutely.
We need to follow you on Twitter. That was a one. That burp was a one.
You know what? It would have been better if she hadn't hit it.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's such a habit.
No, yeah, you're so polite. Oh my God.
I actually have 2 questions for you guys.
What's that?
All right.
I'm gonna flip this real quick. I'm gonna ask each one of you, and you guys can take your time answering whoever wants to answer first. But the first question is, what was the first beer that you ever had, and you looked at it, and it was like a romance? Like, holy shit.
Oh, romance.
It was like a wee girl beer. And second question, what's your sign?
I'll go first.
All right.
I'd probably say Miller High Life.
Okay, really, the champagne of beers.
Goddamn right, girl on the moon.
You looked at that. You looked at the champagne of beers and was like,
Well, I'm a little older than you, and in high school, we drank
a little.
I'm 12 years older than you. That's fucking rude.
That's my role, by the way.
So
I see gray hair everywhere. We're all old.
Yeah, it's all good. Old is relative. I'm seasoned.
Yeah. I made it. I could have died. I didn't die. I'm fine.
Hello. That's rule number one. Don't
You're
die.
like, you got old. I'm like, good luck. How old are you? 27? Oh, well, I don't know that you're going to make it to 42. Good luck.
Let's keep it real. I would never have guessed you as 42.
Hey, I'll be 43 in November.
Yeah, I would never have guessed that. I thought you were like probably 30, to be honest with you.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway.
I like you so much more now.
Miller High Life was kind of my jam.
Okay.
As a youngster. I'm a Pisces, so
I'm you're a water sign. I love
I'm a combination of all the signs. So
wow.
I'm that motherfucker.
You are a human satellite, my friend. You absorb so much shit, whether you like it or not.
Oh, absolutely. I know
receiving, baby.
Yeah. That's me.
You get a lot of shit orbiting you. That's really
a lot of bullshit. Right around my a lot of motherfucker.
Yeah, the getting romantical about a beer. Now I'm gonna say, like Keystone Light, the High Life, that got me through college, but that's not my. That wasn't.
What's the first beer you looked at and you're like, God, wow.
You know what I'm gonna say?
Wee.
Boulevard Dark Truth Stout.
Wow. That's real. That's real.
That motherfucker went hard in the paint.
I mean, that's a good fucking beer.
I mean, that one, that got me.
Can I amend my answer?
Yes. Go ahead.
I'm going to amend my answer. Even though I was already in craft, Young's Double Chocolate Stout, I still fucking love.
That is one of my all-time favorites.
I have a recipe that I'm going to brew at one point at Tony's place at Windshift. We haven't done it yet, but that beer, I mean, I would hunt for that beer. And maybe I guess I love more than one.
Well,
Samuel Smith's organic.
Just like women.
God, I hate women
just
right
love
now.
One.
A Samuel Smith's oatmeal stout is another favorite.
Oh, yeah. Samuel Smith's.
Yeah,
Samuel Smith's.
The organic one. Yeah.
Before I go off on a Samuel Smith tangent, because they opened into fruit beer. They're the only brewery that I know of that I've had fruit beer from, legitimate fruit ale, the legitimate fruit ale. What is your sign, my friend?
Leo. I just had my 45th.
The lion.
Last week was 45.
Wow.
I love that. I surround myself with Leos.
Oh, there you go.
When's your birthday?
It's not on purpose.
When is your birthday?
I'm a Scorpio, and I crave A, other water signs, and B, power signs. And Leos are fucking power signs. I like people that can hold their own. I think underneath it all, like I love people who are a little bit timid. They're fine in my life, but I am attracted.
Am I timid?
I surround myself with people who are strong. Yeah.
Right.
And they're
I'm just obnoxious. I don't know about strong. Obnoxious is a better word.
I bet you have a nice sense of self, though. I bet you're okay with who you are.
I'm all right. I am now.
See? Yeah.
Right at this moment, he's good.
Right now.
Maybe not.
What is your handle on Twitter? Are we friends on Twitter? You don't even know do you even post on Twitter?
My handles are really stupid and long on all of my social media for the reason that I usually don't ever want to tell people because I get afraid that someone's going to follow me. 6.5. It's just
I want to blow you up on Twitter because beer Twitter is fucking legitimate right now. Oh, Dez, God damn it! It's so simple.
Mind. It's pretty simple.
Kense mix
sequence with a C, not a SE.
I'm old and my glasses aren't working.
You ain't that. You can't see that.
It's a little fuzzy.
Quince mix.
It's whatever.
Quince mix. You could probably.
I'm gonna ask you guys right now. What is you guys on here? Is it just Nigel Beers?
Beers with Nigel.
With Nigel.
Yeah.
Nigel.
Yeah. So my mother probably.
I'm following you now.
And I am at Peanut Parker.
I'm following you now. Peanut
P. Nick Parker.
Yeah, Peanut.
Damn it! I just got a bad nickname.
Here's my co-host.
Damn it!
Peanut Parker.
Look at that, bud.
There we
We're
go.
following each other now.
There we go.
Oh my goodness. Yep, you're done.
Kick ass. Yeah, I like Twitter. I'm always like a little hesitant about the social media thing. I really need to be off of it. I'm way too opinionated, and I got feelings and shit. And I get roused very easily. I recently went float tripping, and I didn't look at my phone for 3 days, and I was like, I feel so.
I bet you felt good.
Not anxious about anything.
Yeah.
We went to the woods, and we just shut it all out.
But
it was nice.
Twitter's the place to go because Facebook is stupid.
Yes. Facebook is a lot.
It's too much. So
there's not a day that I don't open it up and I'm like, not like this. Oh my God.
Well,
what am I looking at?
Let's just say this: COVID world has made Facebook worse.
Wow.
It was terrible before.
Right. But it's worse.
If y'all thought the 2016 elections made the world fucked up, COVID took it to another level, bro.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
People are out here pissed.
Wild
about everything, man.
Oh my God, this has been Dez. This has been fucking awesome.
Well, thank you.
I knew it would be.
Honored that you guys had me on here. Thank you.
I've been a fan of yours since the first day I fucking met you. I was like, you rolled up into ZZ Hops. I was like, we got a sister up in here. Goddamn right.
Well, real talk. When I saw you at that Lee Summit ZZ Hops Brew thing,
yeah, and
I was like, oh. And it's like what I was saying. Like, I don't care, but it is nice. I'm like, oh,
no. I mean, the last
base, baby.
Yeah, the last Nano, the last Parkville, and I don't give a shit. I can walk into a room and I don't give a fuck who's in there. I'm gonna drink a beer. I'm gonna make friends. I could be a Pied Piper. That's what I fucking do. But if I see some black folks, I remember it fucking. At Parkville, I was like, "Ooh, black people!" And we were. It was like slow motion. We run into each other.
Were you like running through the fields?
You've seen the page on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
That group of people.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, black people," because it's still an anomaly to see black people at the beer fest. It's
like the lemurs, when they stand up and they're like, "Oh."
I love me some. Look, I'm a PBS nerd. I love me some lemurs.
You know how they stand up? They stand up like people.
I'm making a note.
That's how I feel.
I love me some lemurs.
Lemurs are so cute. Fuck.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on, and congratulations on the new gig. That is fantastic news, and for Kansas City.
Nick, we love your show.
I appreciate you guys.
Look, as soon as we'll probably put this out in a couple of days. I'm gonna blow you up on Twitter. Like I said, the drinking partners, they want you.
Send them my way. I'd love to hear about them. And anytime you guys need a fill-in guest, hit me up. This was fun as fuck.
They're all fill-in, technically.
Yeah.
I plan on next time being more drunk.
Ooh.
8.7.
Finish strong.
Look.
8.8. 8.8. That was an 8.8.
Apparently, I need your approval on my burps.
Nigel's just seeking your approval.
That's
all it is.
Hey.
I can't wait till our beer comes out at Diametric. It's almost there. They just put the coffee in it. We're thinking probably another 7 days.
Okay.
I think that's going to be one of the most legit ones in the city because it's got so much shit in it.
Layers,
I think Marcus Baskerville from Weather Souls will be proud.
Well, just mail him some.
I'm rounding up all the Kansas City ones.
Oh, that's so
and
smart.
I'm gonna send
I want to do that. I want to do that too. I was telling myself, I'm like, I need to get out to every brewery that made this shit.
I'm just going with the ones that did some extra special ones because there's several breweries that haven't done anything to them, which is fine.
Okay, they just ran.
But I want to send him the ones that did the adjuncts and that sort of thing. So,
right.
Except Crane just crushed the original recipe. I heard they boiled it for like 6 hours.
That is maybe the best stout I've had in a long time.
It
was near perfect.
We boiled the one at Diametric.
They must have had to add a lot of water to boil that shit for 6 hours.
Well, they just wanted it's thick and stouty and it's big.
Yeah.
Because when we did the one at Diametric, because we started at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And then some of the guys couldn't stay. I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to hang out for the duration. And we boiled it for 4 hours because they wanted to do 6 hours. I'm like, let's do 4. And I was there till 3:30 a.m. But I didn't care.
Sure.
I took the next day off. I stayed and cleaned. I did all the things. I'm like, God damn it. I got these motherfuckers to show up. I'm not going to leave. That would be rude. Sean was like, you can go. I'm like, shout out to Sean from Diametric. I wasn't going to leave, son.
Shout out, Sean.
Sean. Look, shout out to Junior.
Let's do one more Junior as we sign off.
Hey, man, you guys know how good it feels to have your name shouted out on the radio or some shit.
This is true.
Trust me, Junior is going to, how many times we shout
his name? And a long distance dedication to Garrett.
Hey.
Yeah, Garrett Oliver. We love you. Look, I'm
going to read one of your books. I got to get my weight up, apparently.
Hey, he's the motherfucker to follow. I'm telling you.
All right.
You know, anyway. We love you, girl. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We will talk soon.
Yeah, we will.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to Beers with Nigel. Where can you find us?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much any of your favorite podcast apps. You can even tell Alexa to play the Beers with Nigel podcast.
And if you want to watch video,
check
Vimeo.com/Woody1966. I need to change that to Beers by Nigel.
Woody?
Woody, WOOD, Woody1966. I'm going to change that to
Beers with Nigel, yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. The video version is, you get to see all the facial
and if you get a chance, whatever podcast app you use, give us a review.
Right.
Let us know. Subscribe.
I'll review this one only. 5 stars.
There we go. There we go. We'll talk to everybody next time.
We appreciate it.
Peace.
All right, peace.
You have been listening to Beers with Nigel, a show about beer and other stuff, hosted by Nigel Woodbury and that other guy, Nick Parker. Beers with Nigel is a proud member of the Threadcast Network, and it's available on your favorite podcast apps. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Beers with Nigel.